Call the September 3rd meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll to determine our quorum.
Alderman Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Shaplesky.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Franke.
Here.
Rote. Here. Stefanski. Here. And Vitale.
Here.
That's 10 present.
We have a quorum. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderman Marty Weigel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will move on to item D on our agendas this evening, which are public hearings. We have 3 of them. I will ask our clerk to read public hearing number 1.
Truth in that, you know that, and I know that. Been doing this long enough.
Resolution relative to determination of application for a special use permit for Cream City Print Lounge, a proposed instructor-led print studio to be located at 8010 West National Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Stiebel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first public hearing has to do with the Cream City Print Lounge because it's a printing facility and it has so alcoholic beverages. It has to go under a special Department of Revenue permit process. They have to either have painting or novelty items to be able to work with this with the alcoholic process. Cream City Printing has been printing for a long time. It's been doing a lot of printing of T-shirts and items like that. It'll be a wine and beer snack bar kind of thing. Hours of operation are 5 to 10 p.m. On Sunday through Thursday and 3 to 10, excuse me, on the weekend. It will never turn into a tavern because it has to be in that printing and novelty business, and the Department of Revenue will be monitoring that. It was going to be located in the downtown area, and it has been moved because they were going to go to Book Solid, and there are some issues with fire codes and other costly products. They moved to another location on National Avenue, so we're glad to see them keeping them in the city of West Allis on about the 800 block of National Avenue. The Plan Commission has reviewed this recommendation, has recommended approval, and we've received no objections to date. If you have any additional questions, I'm glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Stiebel. Are there any questions from the Common Council?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Weigel?
So John, this hearing tonight is really just about the printing business and them being there. It's not related to any liquor licenses that they may or may not need. Is that correct?
It's what again?
This is just about the printing business.
It's kind of 2 parts. He does printing of shirts,
Yes.
T-shirts and that sort of stuff. Then he also has where people could come in and they get with a group of friends and they could print their own T-shirts and drink wine and have a cocktail.
Okay, so that's where the alcohol service
Yes.
would be. So the alcohol is just incidental to these
Correct.
parties that they throw. Do you know that if they'll need a license from the city for this business?
No, they will not.
They
This
will
is
not
under a
need an
special-
alcohol beverage service license from the
Correct,
city.
under special provision to the State Department of Revenue.
This is this new rule called the kind of the wedding barn rule. Is that
Yes,
is that
that
what it's
sort
under?
of-
Because the alcohol service, no one would be able to just walk in there and order a beer, a glass of wine. You'd have to book an event there. I just want to make sure I understand what's going on here. Is that
That is correct.
okay. Would they be required to follow all the other rules as far as, will there need to be a licensed bartender there? Do they need to buy from licensed wholesalers? I mean, there's a lot of things that go along with alcoholic beverage service in Wisconsin.
We'll have that answer for you at recess.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any questions from the members of the audience? Okay, seeing none, we will close our first public hearing, and I will ask our clerk to read public hearing number 2.
Resolution relative to determination of the application for a special use permit for WA Community Child Care LLC, an existing daycare, to be relocated at 6330 West Greenfield Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Stiebel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At 6330 West Greenfield Avenue is that current condominium building. The ground floor has been vacant ever since the whole building was developed around a dozen years ago. There's 41 condos, so they all sold out fairly quickly after the property was built. There's 20,000 square foot of ground floor commercial that has been virtually vacant until the salon moved in a couple of years ago. There's 88 underground parking spaces and 32 public parking spaces. And because what is being proposed to move in there is a daycare center, it requires a public hearing, and that's the purpose of this public hearing for this evening, to determine whether a special use should be granted. The daycare facility currently operates in two former Allis Charmer buildings, one on 6682 West Greenfield Avenue in that sort of Toshiba building, and the other one is on South 70th Street, which is on the east side of the street, which is being slated for demolition as part of the Cobalt Development Project. And it's this building here, the facilities, that is primarily going to be moving, and the reason for this public hearing. Technically, they have a license capacity of 228 children, and that's for both locations, but they'll be relocating the property on South 70th Street, and they'll be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. In this facility, this is Greenfield Avenue at the bottom here, this is the current site plan, and they're proposing to take some of the parking out and put it in a required green space area for 112 children. We'll talk in a minute about additional parking being relocated over here. The playground would be as noted in here, and I believe they're going to be using Area 2 as the first location for the playground area. They had proposed to take a look at the frontage area to be able to have playground and parking, but the Plan Commission has recommended to not allow that. And so right now they're only going to be looking at renting this facility here. That's about 8,400 square feet on both sides, with about 3,200, I believe, for Mableloo. The additional parking would be in this area here, which is currently owned by the facility, and the parking, the playground area would be here, and parking would be relocated here. They'd actually have 32 public parking spaces today, and they'll have about 44 when they're done. And I apologize for the poor audio problems that we're having today. You can't quite see this, but there's also supposed to be awnings along the storefront of the building that have not been installed, and we're going to be required those be installed as part of this process. There's 44, there'll be 44 more parking stalls, and this is the picture, technically, this is the back of the building, and a little better video, you can see this vacant lot here, the house has been torn down, and that's where this parking lot will be installed. And the Plan Commission has recommended approval, and if the playground location, the backyard, the rear yard only, additional parking had to be provided, and then the storefront awnings be installed. We have received one written objection to date, and if you have any additional questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Stiebel. Are there any questions from the Common Council on this item?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Barzak.
John, we're having a public hearing. Were the residents of that facility notified of this public hearing?
The city notifies everybody,
So-
and
so
I
everybody
think
in
what
that-
part of the problem is that the ownership did not notify the residents before they got their notice from the city, but hopefully they're working with them now to seek input.
One more time with that, what did you just say?
The
One more-
city did notify all the residents,
So the city notified everybody
yes,
in that building?
in that building.
Okay.
Now,
But the,
technically, the
whoever owns the
ownership should have
building-
notified them first, but they did. I'm sorry, what did you say?
so whoever owns that building did not inform the residents of
I
that
believe they
building?
informed the residents after the
This plan.
city did.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor
Alderman.
Devine.
Any other questions from the
Mayor
Common
Devine.
Council? Alderman
Um,
Stefanski.
Did I miss a thing about what the hours of operation were for the daycare?
No, they were, let me just roll that back.
6 to 9? Okay.
It ends at 9 p.m., 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, there it was, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Ranky.
John, Greenfield Avenue is extremely busy, traffic-wise. Where will the parents drop their children off and pick them up?
in the back of the building. There's 32 parking spaces
place in the
there.
back?
Probably one of the better places to drop kids off that we have in any of our daycare facilities. Because the 41 condominiums have 88 underground parking, so most all condominiums are in the basement, and their visitors are in those 32, which will now be 44.
Will the parents be informed that they shouldn't drop the children off in the front at all?
I don't know if we prohibited dropping off on the frontage.
I see.
We
we
could certainly
suggest-
talk to them about that, because they're going to have 3 signs that would be relatively low traffic volumes. That would be a lot easier to do that.
I see.
But knowing parents, they're going to drop them off wherever they can drop them off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the Common Council?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Vitale?
of course, it's right in my district, so I have to really address the fact that, to me, I mean, I'm not really foreseeing any problems, in the future, But we did experience one time right on Beecher Street, for 10 kids, somebody applied to put a daycare there and was, of course, denied it. And to me, I mean, the building, I look at it right now, I drive by, right across from Jefferson Elementary School. It looks really a little blight in my estimations, but at that time was denied because, for reasons, So to me, I mean, a daycare, that's a good thing, I mean, if the tenants are from those apartments or condos, in that location, they're happy with that, I don't really see any problems. I mean, kids are gotta go someplace, and today it's a big needing for, really, I'm not opposing, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I feel strong about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any other questions from the members of the Common Council on public hearing number 2? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the members of the audience? If you are here to speak on this, we ask that you come up to the podium and please sign in either before or after your comments. We will need your name and address for our official record.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Devine and Common Council. I'm a little nervous. I'm here to
No worries.
represent Lula Aesthetic Boutique. My name is Michael Hopkins. I'm the father of Danielle Hopkins Bogrant, the owner of the spa. She was unable to attend, but she felt so passionate that she be heard that she asked me to step in for her. She wrote this for me, so I'm just going to read it.
Sure.
Okay. Currently, Lula May is the only commercial property renters in the building. As a day spa, our main concern is providing ease to our guests when they are enjoying relaxing services. 2.5 years ago, Danielle chose this location to start and grow her business because of the community West Allis serves and a quiet residential feel of the building. Lula May provides services to guests for self-care needs, including quiet, relaxing, non-stimulating services. Putting a daycare on the reverse side of Lula May walls would greatly affect her new and growing business. It is only natural that we have some concerns that need to be addressed. We will continue to follow the development moving forward as we have many questions and concerns, including timing, build-out, details, noise, issues, parking, etc., and you addressed some of those. She has additional questions. I don't know if this is, she may have a lot of additional questions because this is going to affect her business, she feels, in a negative way. So I don't know if this is the time to, or if she can reach out to people about other questions and concerns at a different time, or?
She can contact me or her alderpersons or the development department.
Okay.
And, so I'm sure we'll all be happy to walk her through the questions and get her answers.
Well, I don't know if it's premature to do that, or, I mean,
I don't think so.
all right. So I'll just leave that up to her to do.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And please remember, if you haven't signed in, to sign in either before or after, and then give us your name and address.
I won't multitask. My name is Kim Bender. I'm a resident of 6330 West Greenfield, and I'm on the back of the building. The residents may not en masse be here. I am strongly opposed to this, basically because of the noise. You have children that are going to be loud. Yes, they start at 6 in the morning. What time do the employees arrive? Employees are going to have music playing in their vehicles. They're going to have alarms chirping as they turn them off. They're going to be talking on cell phones. Parents are going to be coming and talking with the children. Then reverse all of this at 9 p.m. I get up at 4:45 to go to work. I'd like to know when I'm supposed to be sleeping during all of this. This is not a good match. This business and this building do not belong together. Thank you.
You. Does anybody else have comments or questions on this item? You're all good? Yeah. Okay. Oh, someone in the back? You can come on up.
Sorry, I had to sign in.
Hi there. My name is Tom Wahovich. I'm actually the owner of the childcare on the agenda today.
I'm sorry, can you give us an address?
I'm sorry. 6682 West Greenfield Avenue and the 1126 South 70th Street, both locations. Basically, we just wanted to come here to answer any questions that anybody would have, or any concerns that they would have, or if they want any information about us. Obviously, we would address any concerns that you would have about noise. Definitely work with you to try to figure out what would be the best for you and the rest of the tenants in the facility. Obviously, any city issues, parking, parent drop-off, we would work through all that as well. So if anybody had any questions and they want to speak to us now or maybe afterwards, or definitely help out.
My name is Sherry Pape. I work with Tom. I just wanted to address a few things that I heard tonight already. The first is about parents and parking. We would strongly not encourage anybody to be parking on Greenfield Avenue. That entrance would actually be locked, so nobody could even get in there. Everything would happen through the back for safety. Regarding the spa, the sound, that is something we've talked about, and actually you had addressed that as well. We have somebody with us today that knows something about construction, and it is something we've talked about quite a bit, about having soundproofing, because we have been part of other multi-tenant buildings before, and we've always worked really hard to be a very good neighbor, a very good tenant, policing ourselves to make sure we're not causing extra drama. So sound would definitely be something we'd be talking about more to make sure that's not an issue. Regarding employees, staff, we run a pretty professional business. We brought some handouts tonight about our business and Tom's contact information. So if you had any specific questions, we would be happy to talk to you and address your concerns. So moving forward, everybody's happy. So.
Thank you. I think if there are questions, we'll probably have you take them in the hallway or during the committee process. We'll have time to.
Just wanted to address those for you.
Great.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Any other members of the audience have comments or questions on public hearing number 2? Okay, seeing none, we will close our second public hearing, and I will ask our clerk to read public hearing number 3.
2019-2020 Class A beer and cider license application of Quick Trip, Inc. Ryan R. Giesing, agent, DBA Quick Trip number 1047, for the premises located at 10923 West Lapham Street, new non-existing location, in regard to exceeding the quota.
Thank you. Mr. Stiebel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city approved a special use for this facility back in November of 2018, and the purpose of the public hearing tonight is to exceed the quota. I think our quota is currently at 130, and this would allow it to exceed to be 131. As noted on the slide there, it'd be a Class A self-imposed license for beer only. If you have additional questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions from the Common Council on public hearing number 3?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Barzak.
just a little bit of a correction. I think you said that we're at 130 licenses and this would be 31. Correction would be we're at 30 licenses. This would be 31.
Excuse me.
That's my.
Noted.
Stand corrected.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Alderman Rote.
It says, you said beer, and then they show Beer Cave, and we're seeing beer and cider. What is the cider? I don't know what that element is.
Our city attorney is coming up. There is a state provision he's going to explain eloquently to us.
Thanks for the pressure, Mayor. If you issue a Class A beer license, there's a very special provision that was enacted a few years ago that then makes a cider license available as a mandatory issue license. And all the cider license is basically the ciders, the fruit-based alcoholic beverages are not technically fermented malt beverages. They are technically an intoxicating liquor, so it wouldn't qualify under the beer license, but the state has essentially said by policy they're the same thing. So if you issue a beer license, the cider license has to come with it. If you don't issue the beer license, then the cider license is not an issue.
Alderman Rote.
Intoxicating liquor.
It is, a cider is like a,
We just prohibited those a month ago.
correct. So a regular intoxicating liquor Class A license is not allowed, and so they couldn't sell certain types, but there's a very narrow definition of intoxicating liquors called ciders, which is a low alcohol content fruit-based alcoholic beverage. That would automatically go with a Class A beer license if the applicant wants one. And that is a state law, one of the few ones where it's mandatorily issued, but it is, again, a conditional one, only if the council grants that Class A beer.
The cider lobby is very strong in Wisconsin. Any other questions or comments from the Common Council?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman May.
just a quick note that myself and the company I work for are under contract by Quick Trip to do a number of studies within Wisconsin, and therefore I will be recusing myself from a vote on this issue.
Thank you. If
Mr.
there-
Mayor, if I could note, if they do plan on opening this gas station in mid-September. And I think also the car wash is open at the same time,
Thank you.
with or without a liquor license.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? If not, we'll go to the audience. Did you have something? Oh.
Well, I wasn't really planning on saying anything, not really sure what to expect. My HR team hasn't really fully prepared me for this, but
I'm sorry, can you give us your name and address,
I'm
please?
sorry,
That's
I'm
okay.
Ryan Geeson. I will be the agent at 10923 West Lapham.
Okay.
All I can really say is the company that I work for, we don't take any sales of intoxicating beverages lightly at all. We have an excellent ID check, compliance check rate. Our POS system locks us out until we actually scan the ID into the register. Coworkers complete in-house training along with the Learn to Serve. I'm continuously stressing in my store meetings in previous stores that I've run the importance of IDing for alcohol and tobacco. We do not only discipline our employees when we have our own ID checks as well. So we send people around to make sure that we're in compliance more than just what the city does. And when they do pass those, we do reward them for passing those as well. We have detailed policies as to which IDs are acceptable. And the only way to lock and unlock the beer cave would be from behind the register. It's something I think pretty unique. That's all I really got.
Okay.
There will be good practices at Quick Trip in West Allis, opening September 13th.
Thank you.
5 a.m.
Are there any other comments or questions from the members of the audience? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 3. And we will move on to item E on our agendas, which is citizen participation. This is the opportunity for residents to address the council on any matters of interest to them. Is there anybody that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Seeing none, we will close citizen participation and move to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. Those room numbers are listed on your agendas on the top of page 2. Moving on to item G, the mayor's report. I have just a couple of things to mention. We have a lot of events coming up in the next 2 weeks, starting with tomorrow morning. I've talked a few times, and you may have seen on the city's website and social media about the Better Block Foundation and their project that is being done in the neighborhood of 60th and Burnham. That process and build is actually probably underway right now, but it officially kicks off tomorrow morning. And then on Friday evening and Saturday afternoon, there will be an official reveal of all the construction and changes and plantings and bike lanes and all the different proposals they are going to put in place on this intersection. So this is not just for residents that live in that neighborhood, but this is for anybody in the city or the surrounding communities to stop by and check out. We're going to work with them to put forth a lot of ideas, and we want to hear what you all think about their proposals and what we may want to try to make permanent and what we may not want to try to proceed with. If that's not enough on Friday, we also have the final installation of our food truck events at the West Allis Farmers Market. If you have not noticed, next to the West Allis Cheese and Sausage Shop, the coffee and craft beer Station 6 is open. We are having a ribbon cutting tomorrow, Wednesday. And then next Friday, the 13th, is going to be the second annual version of Art on the Plaza, which is going to be outside City Hall here on that Friday evening. Again, there will be live music, family activities, food trucks, and art displays. And the party will conclude on the 14th when the Downtown Business District will have their Wood and Wings event. All this information and details are on the city's website and on the city's social media. The Wood and Wings is a competition among all the restaurants in the city that have amazing chicken wings, and it is partnered with a project with our forestry department to kind of upcycle a lot of trees that are taken down and turning them into art that are, Diane, just give me a head nod, these are auctioned off. Is that still the plan this year? Auctioned off. So come and eat and shop and check out more art. That concludes the mayor's report this evening. We'll move to item H. Are there any reports from the alderpersons this evening?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
On the wooden wings, I just wanted to also add that there'll be an Alaskan Mill demo where they like live cut slab trees into big slabs. You see that live edge wood. There'll be a wood carving or chainsaw carving going on, and there'll be a hammer schlagen too if you want to swing a hammer a little bit.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports? Okay.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of August 6th, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Are there any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Moving to item J, I'll ask for a motion to place item 5 on file and refer items 6 and 7 to the city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. The standing committee reports under license and health.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Chaplesky.
I will read those out after recess.
Thank you.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meeting.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in recess.